Welcome to Learning English with Stories. In this video, we are going to practice a 13-minute conversation between Olivia and her English teacher. Her goal is to learn English faster, so they talk about tips for learning English. Let's get started.
Olivia asked her teacher for a meeting to have a conversation about her English learning journey. She wanted to discuss her challenges related to learning English. So, they met at a cafe. After ordering their drinks, Olivia started asking the questions.
Teacher, I have trouble understanding when native speakers talk fast in English. What can I do?
That's a common challenge. Do you watch English TV shows every day?
Yes, but sometimes I just read subtitles because it's too fast.
Try watching short clips without subtitles to train your ear.
That sounds hard. What if I don't understand anything?
It's okay not to understand everything at first. Try guessing the context.
Can English music help too?
Absolutely. Music can improve your listening skills and you can repeat songs.
What about English podcasts? Are they useful?
Yes, podcasts are great because you can choose topics you like, and it's easier to stay engaged.
Should I try to listen to fast speakers or find slower ones?
Start with slower, clear English speakers. Gradually, listen to faster speech.
How can I improve my English listening skills at home?
You can mimic the speakers. Repeat after them to practice pronunciation.
Mimic them? Like, try to copy how they talk?
Exactly. It helps you understand the flow of the language and improve your speaking skills too.
What if I keep missing words?
Use online transcripts or lyrics for songs to check what you miss.
Is there a way to make this English practice more fun?
Yes, you could watch English movies with friends and discuss them afterward in English.
Conversation in English sounds challenging.
It is at first, but it's very effective. You can start with simple opinions.
Will these methods of English learning really make a difference?
Definitely. Consistency in learning English is key. You will improve with regular practice.
I'm worried I might not keep up with daily practice.
Set small, achievable goals. Even 10 minutes a day can make a big difference over time.
Teacher, I always translate from my native language in my head. How can I think in English?
It's a common step in learning English. Start by narrating simple activities in English in your mind.
Like what I'm doing at the moment.
Exactly. If you're making coffee, think, I'm boiling water, now I'm pouring the coffee.
Should I do this all day?
As much as you can. The more you practice, the more natural it will become.
What if I don't know the words for everything in English?
Use a dictionary to look up new words.
Can writing in English help too?
Definitely. It's a great way to practice thinking in English.
But my grammar isn't perfect. I might make mistakes.
Making mistakes is part of learning. Over time, you will improve your English grammar as you write more.
How about speaking English? I'm not very confident.
Try speaking to yourself in English or find a study buddy you can practice speaking with.
Speaking to myself feels odd.
It might feel strange at first, but it's a powerful tool for improving your English fluency.
Is there a way to make thinking in English a habit?
Yes, you can set specific times during the day as English-only times.
What if I switch back to my native language without noticing?
It's normal. It takes time to form a new habit.
Are there specific exercises to improve thinking in English?
Try visualizing your day in English before you go to bed. Describe the people, places, and activities.
Can I also watch English content without subtitles?
That's a great idea. It can help you link words with visual contexts.
Will reading out loud help?
Absolutely. It combines reading and speaking practice, improving your English thought process.
It seems like a lot of work. Is it truly effective?
It is. Like any skill, English proficiency comes with practice and patience.
Teacher, I'm scared of speaking English. I'm afraid I'll make mistakes.
It's normal to feel that way. Remember, making mistakes is part of learning.
But what if others laugh at me?
Those who matter won't mind your mistakes.
How can I become less afraid?
Start by speaking English in a safe environment, like with friends, family, or language learning groups.
And if I don't have anyone?
Online communities can be very supportive.
What if I freeze and forget words while speaking?
Take a deep breath and try to describe the word in English or use a simpler word you know.
Is it okay to take time to think about what to say?
Absolutely. It's better to speak slowly English and clearly than to rush.
What exercises can I do to build confidence?
Try preparing short speeches on topics you like. Practice them alone, then with a friend.
Should I correct every mistake I make?
Focus on communication first.
How can I deal with negative feedback?
Consider it as a tool for improvement.
Can recording myself speaking help?
Yes, it's a great way to track your progress and notice areas for improvement.
It sounds like a lot of effort. Will I ever feel comfortable speaking English?
Yes, with practice you'll find yourself becoming more confident.
How long does it usually take to overcome this fear?
It varies for everyone. The key is consistent practice.
What about speaking in front of groups?
Start small with one-on-one conversations and gradually increase the size of your audience.
Any tips for those moments when I feel embarrassed?
Remember why you're learning English. Focus on your goals.
Okay, I'll try speaking more, even if I make mistakes.
That's the spirit, Olivia. Your confidence will grow with each conversation.
Teacher, I've heard immersion is the best way to learn English. How can I immerse myself?
Immersion is indeed very effective. Start by creating an English-speaking environment at home.
I already do, but sometimes I switch back to my native language because it's easier.
Try to stick with English only. Do you read books in English?
Not much. I find them a bit hard to understand.
Begin with simpler books or even children's books.
What about speaking? I don't have many opportunities to speak English here.
You can join online language exchange communities.
That sounds interesting. But will it really feel like immersion?
It can come close. The key is to use English as much as possible.
Can I make my social media in English too?
Absolutely, that's a great strategy.
What if I come across words or phrases I don't understand?
Look up their meanings and try to use them in sentences.
This sounds like it requires a lot of discipline.
It does, but the immersion process can be very rewarding.
Should I try thinking in English too?
Yes, thinking in English is a crucial part of immersion. Even dream in English if you can.
Dream in English? That seems a bit unlikely.
It might happen naturally as you immerse yourself more.
How will I know if I'm successful with my immersion?
You'll find yourself understanding and communicating more naturally.
Is it okay to have days when I just want to take a break from English?
Of course. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint.
I'm excited to try these immersion techniques.
Remember, immersion is about surrounding yourself with English in a way that works for you.
What about when I feel like I'm not improving anymore?
Hitting a plateau is a common part of learning a language.
How can I break through this plateau?
Have you been focusing too much on one skill?
Maybe. I've been doing a lot of reading but not much speaking.
Balance is key. Have you tried language meetups?
No, I haven't. Are they helpful?
Very. They can give you real-life practice.
What else can I do?
Challenge yourself with materials slightly above your current level.
Like more complex books or movies?
Exactly. And try writing stories in English, then give feedback.
Feedback makes me nervous. What if they're harsh?
Feedback is invaluable for growth.
How often should I try new methods to overcome the plateau?
Give each new method a few weeks to see how it affects your learning.
Is there a way to measure if I'm improving?
Look back over it to see improvements. You might not notice day to day.
I worry I'll get discouraged if I don't see quick results.
Set small, achievable goals.
I've heard about changing the language environment. Should I try that?
Changing your routine can provide new contexts for learning.
Teacher, I struggle with learning new words.
A great way to start is by reading. What do you like to read?
I enjoy English stories, but sometimes the vocabulary is too difficult.
That's okay. Try to guess the meaning from context first. If you can't, look it up.
How should I organize it?
Write down the new word, its meaning, and an example sentence.
What about words I don't often use? How do I remember those?
Try to use them in your own sentences or conversations.
Can watching movies or TV shows in English help too?
Absolutely. It's a fun way to hear how words are used naturally.
Sometimes I forget words even after looking them up multiple times.
Repetition is key. Also, try visualizing the word's meaning.
I heard about language apps. Are they useful?
Yes, many apps are designed to help expand your vocabulary through games and quizzes.
How often should I study new words?
Daily practice is ideal, even if it's just a few minutes.
What if I learn a word but can't pronounce it correctly?
Listen to the pronunciation online or use an app.
Should I focus on certain types of words?
Start with words that are relevant to your daily life or interests.
Is there a limit to how many new words I should learn a day?
Don't overwhelm yourself. 5 to 10 new words a day.
What about learning phrases instead of just words?
Learning phrases is excellent for understanding usage and context.
It seems like a lot to manage.
It can be at first, but over time, it becomes a natural part of your learning routine.
I'll start with a small goal then. Maybe 5 words a day from a book I like.
That sounds perfect, Olivia.
Teacher, I often miss jokes or references in English conversations.
Understanding cultural references takes time. Have you tried watching English TV shows?
Yes, but sometimes the jokes go over my head.
That's normal. In this case, write it down. Then look it up online.
Will reading English books help too?
Definitely. Books often contain cultural references.
What about history? Does knowing about a country's history help?
Yes, historical context can explain a lot of references.
It sounds like there's a lot to learn.
There is, but don't feel overwhelmed. Take it one step at a time.
Can music teach me about culture?
Absolutely. Music often reflects the values, struggles, and humor of a culture.
What if I encounter slang or idioms in these references?
Keep a list of slang and idioms, and try to learn a few regularly.
Is it useful to talk to native speakers about these references?
Very much so. They can provide context you might not find in books or online.
But I'm shy about asking. It might seem like a silly question.
Don't worry. Most people enjoy sharing their culture.
How about social media? Can it be a learning tool?
Yes, following English-speaking social media accounts can expose you to their culture.
It seems like being curious is important.
Exactly. Be curious and proactive in your learning.
I'll start exploring more English media and maybe join some cultural forums.
That's a great plan. Remember, learning is a journey.
Teacher, sometimes I feel overwhelmed.
It's important to set achievable goals. What's one thing you want to improve this week?
I'd like to get better at listening. English speakers talk so fast.
Good goal. You could aim to listen to an English podcast every day for 10 minutes. Does that sound doable?
Yes, I think I can manage that. What if I find it too easy or too hard?
If it's too easy, try more challenging podcasts. If it's too hard, find simpler content.
How do I know when to move on to a bigger goal?
Once you feel comfortable with your current goal, you can gradually expand your objectives.
Should I focus on just one goal at a time?
Starting with one goal is wise. But as you progress, you can add more goals.
How long should I give myself to achieve these goals?
Set a deadline that feels challenging but reasonable.
What if I don't meet my goal in time?
It's okay. Learning is flexible, not rigid.
Should I write my goals down?
Definitely. Writing your goals can help you stay committed.
And should I share my goals with someone?
Yes, sharing goals can provide you with a support system and accountability.
How do I keep from getting discouraged if progress is slow?
Celebrate small victories along the way.
Can I adjust my goals if my interests or needs change?
Absolutely. Be flexible and adjust as needed.
There are so many English learning resources out there.
It's about finding what works for you, Olivia. Do you prefer videos, books, or interactive apps?
I like videos because I can see and hear the language in action.
Videos are a great choice. Look for channels that offer subtitles.
Are some apps better than others?
Yes, some apps focus on vocabulary, others on grammar, and some on conversational practice.
What about books? There are so many.
Start with books designed for English learners.
I worry about spending money on resources I might not use.
That's a valid concern. Many websites offer free trials.
How do I know if a resource is effective?
If you're engaged and can see progress,
Can I use social media as a learning tool?
absolutely. Follow English learning channels or join groups.
What if I get bored with a resource?
Switch it up. Learning should be enjoyable.
Is it a good idea to stick with just one resource?
It's best to mix different types of resources.
How often should I change my learning materials?
Every few months or so, evaluate what you're using.
Should I try resources in different dialects of English?
Exposure to various dialects can be beneficial.
What if I find a resource too challenging?
If it's slightly above your level, it might be good for growth.
Teacher, should I focus more on improving my listening or reading skills?
It's important to balance both.
I listen to music in English, but I find it hard to understand everything.
Try adding podcasts or audiobooks to your routine.
And what about reading?
Try reading books at your English level.
How can I make sure I'm balancing my time well?
Set specific goals for each.
Should these activities be related?
That's an excellent strategy.
Is it okay to use subtitles when watching English shows?
Starting with subtitles is fine, especially if they're in English.
What if I find listening exercises too challenging?
Don't be afraid to repeat audio materials.
Can reading out loud help with my listening skills?
Yes, it can. Reading aloud helps you hear the rhythm and flow of English.
How do I know when to move to more difficult materials?
When you start finding your current materials too easy,
Is there a risk of focusing too much on one skill over the other?
yes, which is why setting specific goals for each skill is important.
I'm worried I might neglect speaking if I focus on listening.
Incorporate speaking into your practice by summarizing what you've listened to.
Teacher, how can I retain new English words and grammar rules that I learn?
Retention is all about repetition and use.
So, should I speak or write these sentences?
Both. Speaking helps with pronunciation, while writing helps with memorizing them.
I heard flashcards are useful. Is that true?
Absolutely. You can even use apps that employ spaced repetition systems.
Spaced repetition? What's that?
It's a technique where you review the material over increasing intervals of time.
That sounds useful. How often should I review my notes and flashcards?
Daily review is ideal, even if it's just for a few minutes.
What about learning in a group?
Learning with others can reinforce your knowledge.
Sometimes I understand a concept during class but forget it later. Why is that?
It might be because you're not applying the concept outside of class.
How can I apply English in my daily life if I don't live in an English-speaking country?
Engage with English media, or speak with friends who are also learning English.
I enjoy playing video games. Can they help?
Definitely. Especially if you interact with other players in English.
What if I make a mistake while trying to use new words or grammar?
Each mistake is an opportunity to learn and remember the correct usage.
Is there a limit to how much new information I should try to learn at once?
Yes, focus on learning a manageable amount of new information.
Can teaching someone else what I have learned help me retain it?
Absolutely. Teaching is a powerful way to deepen your own understanding.
Thanks, teacher. I'll try these methods to improve my English skills.
You're welcome, Olivia. Remember, learning is a journey. Be patient with yourself and enjoy the process.
Now let's analyze the new vocabulary.
Gradually means slowly over time. Example: the sun gradually set, making the sky dark. Lyrics means the words of a song. Example: the lyrics of that song are really touching. Consistency means doing something the same way over time. Example: he runs every morning with consistency. Odd means strange or unusual. Example: it's odd that he didn't answer his phone. Proficiency means being very good at something. Example: his proficiency in chess is amazing. Rush means to do something very quickly. Example: I had to rush to catch the bus. Embarrassment means feeling ashamed or awkward. Example: falling down in public was a big embarrassment. Spirit means the feeling of enthusiasm or energy. Example: the team spirit was high after the win. Immersion means getting deeply involved in something. Example: immersion in a new language helps you learn it faster. Plateau means a period where no progress is made. Example: my weight loss hit a plateau after 2 months. Meetups means gatherings or meetings, especially among people with a common interest. Example: the book club meetups happen every month. Struggle means to try very hard to do something challenging. Example: I struggle with waking up early. Overwhelm means to have so much of something that it's hard to handle. Example: I was overwhelmed with homework last night. Humor means the quality of being funny. Example: his humor always makes me laugh. Encounter means to unexpectedly meet or experience something. Example: I encountered a deer while hiking in the forest. Slang means informal words or phrases that aren't found in the dictionary. Example: cool is slang for something that's very good or fashionable. Idiom means a phrase where the words together have a different meaning than the individual words. Example: piece of cake is an idiom meaning something is very easy. Rigid means very strict and not able to change. Example: the teacher's rules are very rigid. Dialect means a form of a language that is spoken in a particular area. Example: the Southern dialect has a distinctive accent. Spaced repetition means reviewing information at increasing intervals to remember it better. Example: using spaced repetition helps me study for exams. Interact means to communicate or work together. Example: it's important to interact with your coworkers.
Great job! Now, if you want to see how Olivia improved her English and how she met her nice boss at the restaurant while she was working as a waitress, explore the link in the description below to watch her other story. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more stories. Don't forget to hit the like button to encourage us to create more stories. Keep practicing, keep learning, and see you in the next video.